don't even like to call it salvage. When I market stuff, I just like to say parts supplier. Because with these old airplanes, you can't even sometimes find new parts. There aren't new parts. You can't call Piper, airplane manufacturer, and say, hey, I've got a 66 PA-28 150 and I need this little bracket. And they're like, we can get it for you, but it's going to take us 8 months to figure out. Because I think legally, they still have to supply parts for these airplanes because they're still in the air. So what they do is they just wait for somebody to call and need something, and then they like go try to manufacture it. So that's why salvage is much different in aviation than cars, because this literally has to exist for airplanes to stay in the sky, because there are no used parts in a lot of cases. Well, like I said, I come to work because I really love to live here, and there's no industry here. There is no wealthy people in the area, because there's no, unless they've retired to this area and they live up on the river somewhere up in the mountains in a lodge or something. But there's no industry here to sustain. What am I trying to sustain? Got tongue tied there. Sustain anybody with a pretty nice lifestyle. I did work here every summer, from the average age that a kid would come to work. So I guess I really started getting in the truck when I was 14, and I couldn't even drive, and they'd send me out and go pick up an airplane. It's hard manual labor. They're out there today and it's 110 heat index. So, and they're out in the bean field, there's no shade. I'm trying to get this airplane unbolted and it doesn't want to come unbolted. So that trained me a lot to just put your head down and do it. It's nasty and sticky. And the chemicals on the airplane are gross, but you got to get it back, because there's only one truck coming back home, so you can't quit. So I used to do that, and I still do that a little bit. My job mainly is to keep this ship floating, but I don't mind to go out and pick up an airplane. But yeah, growing up with this is like, we sit around the dinner table and talk about, damage to an airplane, or how much we would pay for this airplane, or we text, articles about this new airplane coming out. So we're just aviators. This is what we do. We talk about it, we live it, and we come to work and we do it. Look, guys, just Bill working. Dude. Hey, Bill. You don't mind being on a documentary, do you?
What's the particular issue with this one?
This one.
Had a runway or something.
Yeah, he ran off the end. Folded that whole thing.
Folded this up. So we've done a repair, replaced this stuff, and shooting it on the inside.
How long have you been repairing aircraft?
I started this business back in early mid-'80s. Repairing aircraft since '97. Before that, I was in the retrieval business. These guys were coming around. I don't know if you were here or not. But...
Well, no, I'm 24. What Bill does is he'll take one that I've sold one that Bill fixed. They gave me their damaged one back, and Bill restarts again and cranks that one out. And like the last one I sold, the guy called me back and said, hey, when y'all get that one fixed again, let me know. So as soon as I call dude, tell him that Bill's finished with this one, we'll send it out. So people just really like his stuff. So pretty good at it.
Years ago when I started in this, Jim, the guy he says, we build them like our kids are flying them. And we do that. We pay attention to what we do, and and there's a certain what's the word I'm looking for? Well, a certain responsibility and quality. And we really have to do that, because you're only as good as your last product. And we try to do each one the best way that we know how, and that's what we try to do. We have good days, and some days are just weird. Of course, like Trevor says, with the COVID, sometimes it's hard to get parts, but and they kind of trickle in. But it's kind of a rewarding industry. If you of course we're all local folk. We've been here. His dad grew up in the same community that I grew in, the south of the county here. And we all started off with farms and cows and things. Of course, now we're doing something different.
Yeah, people ask me if I have cows or chickens, which everybody does have animals around here. And I just no, I've got, we call them goats and sheeps is what I have. The goats are the old nasty plains over there that I make a lot of money on. The sheep are the nice ones that go up and fly and we sell. So I have goats and sheeps over there. A lot of my stuff now, and since I've launched this new website, hold on. This may not work. Since I've launched the new website, we're getting a lot more traction on Google. The other website was in the wrong format. Google couldn't index our site and pull our part numbers off, which is what people are searching. So we've tried to fix that.
How did you learn this side of the business, like the marketing, promotion stuff?
I just sit here and talk to people because the other site was not doing good at all. I knew we just had to change that out. And I guess just self-taught the Google indexing and the way URLs should be set up and SEO, Google Ads, keyword searches. I just dug in and figured it out. I tried to learn at business school, but they don't teach you any of that. So I got out of there with absolutely no traction at all. Didn't know anything about any of this. You can take marketing classes, and I did, but they don't get into what's important. They just want to teach you how to be creative and come up with catchy little slogan or what colors make people think this and feel that. Didn't help me at all. This is actually one like what I was telling you that we fly. This is like our twin, but this one's destroyed. This is a Beach Baron. So a storm got it, messed it up. We bought it. So now my guys are taking parts off of it. They'll get the parts off and they will put them on the shelf. Something like that. Or this is a Cessna 182 gear casting. This isn't the particular. There's one that's more expensive than this. That was only made for 4 years, and they always crack. Everybody's are cracked. So if I get one that's not cracked, a lot of money. This one is a little less valuable, but this is about $4,500, which is if you do the ratio, it's about the same as gold with this weight. I don't know where they are right now, but it's a little brake swivel hydraulic fitting that is $795, and it's this big. It probably weighs an ounce because it's aluminum. So
what is going on over here? What is this process?
So in 2003, 2004, my dad started putting all this stuff online for sale. At the time, the internet was pretty fresh, and there were no used parts. There wasn't even new parts on the internet. So he did really well, and he kind of led the charge with used airplane parts on the internet. There was nobody else, and it's the internet age now, and we've had competition probably for the last 10 years in that, so I've had to come in and do marketing, and we've had to restructure and build a new website. So, but there are things that have 2003 pictures, which in 2003 you could not store any sizable or quality picture online. So what Nathan's done all summer is pull stuff out, take new photos of it, make sure that it's in stock, make sure everything is right on it. So once he gets new pictures, and we do it behind that white background, they roll the carts over here, and what they do is they pick stuff up and they'll inspect it, they'll do their test, they'll clean it up, they'll throw it in here, get their iPad, take a picture of it. Of course they've got to get the part number, they've got to do all of their homework so they can do it. So it's a very hard process because the part numbers come from these books. We've got every book you can have, and as you can see, they're old books because these are old airplanes. So you've got to go back, and since they're old, there's no digital. You can't. They are scanned in, but as far as just searching a description and a name, you can't do that. There's no data. Parts really sell. They really go online, which is what I want. I don't want to. It's not that I don't like to talk to people, but I really love just getting orders in for $4,500 parts and never talking to dude, or I'll just be sitting there in my office and it'll go ding, and I look and it says $2,750 to Australia. So I mean, we're doing it worldwide from this little tiny Clinton town.
I had another question for you.
Yeah.
What's it like? You're a pretty young guy. Do you ever find any challenges of being young in this sort of business?
Yep. My main challenge was I would go to Jacksonville, Florida to put one on a trailer when I was 18, and you got to be 21 to rent a room. So it's like I'm out working. And I go to check in, they're like, sorry, you got to be 21. So I'd have to go down the road somewhere that I hadn't planned. It's 11:30 at night, no truck parking, and go to like just a local dump and stay there. My dad's I have blood, I have skin in the game, is what he says. So it's up to me in some fashion if this place goes up or down, because I'm the guy that has to answer all the hard questions. My dad's here too. He has different jobs and different questions. My department is parts, and I've got guys that work underneath me. So when I first came back, these guys had been here when I was a kid, and now I'm trying to balance being 22 and being their manager and trying to sell more parts, and them not wanting to listen to me because they were here when I was 6. So I've balanced, and they respect me now because I feel like I've done a pretty good job. We've grown a ton in the last 3 years, and we're selling more parts. We're more efficient. We're buying more stuff. We're getting our name out there more, and they appreciate that because that directly affects their employment. If we're not making any money, they've got to go find a job elsewhere in this area, which is not easy to do. You got Walmart. You've got some gas companies. Of course, you can work for the county or you could drive a truck, but this is a very good job for this area. So they care that I'm here and that I'm doing my best trying to help them with their employment. I'm trying to help feed their families, and they work very hard too to help me do that. So we're kind of like a family here. Everybody's been here a really long time, and like with Mike dying, 17 years. I mean, it's a pretty big shock for everybody, and you're here with him 5 days a week, and sometimes 7 days a week if we're on the road. And when he just goes off and dies, it's like leaves a big hole, and we're trying to grieve and deal with that. And at the same time, I've got to replace him because we've got stuff on the ground. We've got a lot of stuff to do. So that's the tough spot we're in now. We're just in a bind. We've got tons of stuff to do, and we don't have the manpower to do it. So we're all working double shifts trying to get all our stuff cleaned up so we can get everybody taken care of. But and we've got guys we're talking to. And I put out a big video. You might enjoy watching it. My sister made it. It's a promo here. She's pretty talented. She's definitely novice, but she's pretty talented. We put that out, and I got 50 applicants for this particular job. So, and they're coming from Conway, Greenbrier. They're like, they're trying to get here because this is a very, very, very good job for the area.
No, see, that's smart. I work for this.
You fly. You said you fly.
Yeah, that's my passion. That's one of the reasons I work here is because they give me airplanes to fly and gas. So,
How long have you been flying?
my first solo was I was 16. So I made it a point to fly an airplane by myself before I drove a car by myself. So my instructor was out of town on my birthday, and all my friends were going to the movies, and they wanted me to drive them, and I was like, no, I'm waiting. I cannot get in the car by myself before I fly by myself. So I did it. And so I'm pushing, actually my birthday was 3 days ago, so that makes 7 years I've been going. So
Could you describe the feeling of flying? Is it a unique experience?
so you go train and you're really focused because you can't, if you mess up, that's on your instructor. So he's there, he'll save you. The first time, what happens is you're flying and they don't give you any warning, and he just opens the door and gets out. And you're like, okay, I've been doing this. He hasn't been messing with it. And then you get to the end of the runway and you put the power in and you're thinking, okay, when I pull up, he's not there and I have to get this thing back down. There's no way out. Well, there's two ways. You can crash, maybe live, or you can put it back down on the runway. But when you get up there, there's a sense of freedom, and it's not something I've been able to equal with anything else I've done. And I'm a little bit of a thrill seeker. We do motorcycles. We do, of course, airplanes. I'm about to race an airplane in October. But there is a sense of freedom that when you get up there, there's no speed limits. Nobody can get to you up there, and you're the only person that can get the airplane back down. And it's all yours. If you want to go left, throw it left. If you want to go right, throw it right. Or up. If you want to go straight down, just push it over. And it's something that you can't, it's like an itch, you can't get it out. You can't scratch it enough.
And you never have any fear?
No, I don't. I know where I'm going if I crash. So